All right, let's welcome back.
Aim Squad, we are back
Woo,
after a Week 12 Thursday Night Football in what we said was going to be a very snowy and chilly game.
It started off clear, and then all of a sudden it snowed in the second half.
It did.
I don't know. I like the snow. The snow was more exciting than the game itself, to be honest with you.
It was. I'm not going to lie, because I'm sure you guys also saw that based on the camera work, some of the players actually looked see-through.
Yeah.
Because the snow was messing with it.
You couldn't even see the football.
You couldn't.
When they tried to do a field goal. It was so funny. It's like, did it go in? Did it not? I don't know, but it was a fun game overall. I liked it.
It was fun, yeah. Very, very early winter, early Christmas kind of vibes. We knew this was going to be a slow game anyways, which it was, and the snow only slowed it down even more.
Exactly.
But, hey, coming into it, we, of course, had our records as we do with every Thursday Night Football. We called a few key things, which we'll get into right now. All know you were 7-4 coming in.
Yep.
I was 3-8. We both called the underdog Cleveland plus 3.5, and we both hit. So that's obviously great news. Ulner, quick summary. What was your takeaway? What do you think on Cleveland, how they played, how Pittsburgh played, and obviously the shift between Russell Wilson and Fields?
Well, we said this in the previous podcast. We said Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers have not won a divisional game on Thursday.
Yeah.
The trend continued. The referee favored Cleveland, gave Pittsburgh some late calls, and Cleveland just found a way to win this game.
Yeah.
They were down late too, but the weather was in their favor with the snow. It benefited them. Home field advantage. Nick Chubb had a game, found the end zone. The dog pound rolled and they won, and we hit.
We did.
We were barking all the way through.
We did.
For a couple of days, we were like, come on, dog pound, and they came through.
Exactly. I mean, we hit that plus 3.5. We called a lot of the components that you saw. Slow game, snow, cold, Mike Tomlin's issues.
Yeah.
And we thought Cleveland was going to come through, and they did. So, good news is we both rode together on that one. We both hit. We both ate. Ulner, you move up to 8-4.
Yeah.
I'm 4-8. Upswing. We'll take the dub one Thursday at a time. Still got a few Thursdays left to help beef that record up. But let's get into our props and our betting.
Yeah, let's get into it. First prop we had, anytime touchdown score.
Yeah.
We had Mr. Najee Harris. And listen, the game was all about running.
Yeah.
But we had Warren who came in and just found the hole, and
he was more efficient.
He was more efficient, and they just rolled the hot hand where Najee was giving up, taking the short yardages, getting them the first downs when they needed to. But at 2.2 times your odds, we felt it was an odd not to miss.
It was solid. I think you're right. I think it was a matter of who got the hot hand.
Yeah.
The slow game that it was going. Mike Tomlin just went with the hot hand in hopes to maybe speed it up.
Yeah. Whatever. He didn't find the paint.
It is what it is.
We took a loss there. It's okay. But we got Sunday football coming up though.
So tune in and keep that locked in for this podcast. We got some stuff for you. But for yesterday's game, we also had our parlay.
Yeah.
Now, we had 3 legs. We had rushing over 50 for Nick Chubb. He hit. We had both teams do not score 20 points. That hit because only one team did. And rushing over 50 yards for Najee Harris. We missed it, but by 9 yards.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ulner mentioned Warren got the hot hand. He was more efficient in what was a very slow game. Tomlin decided to run with him, and Najee just never got that chance to get higher than 9 yards.
And he had a couple of chances early, but he just ran for negative yardage.
He did, yeah. That hurt him.
They knew the ball was going to go to Najee, and they stacked the box. Myles Garrett told his defense, called the play, hey, listen, Najee's running. We're not getting past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And those couple of negative yardages piled up, and we could have had those 9 yards if they were just 0 or just a positive.
Yeah, it could have been. Yep.
So, but 9 yards is a tough way to lose.
It is.
We made some great calls. We had it there 3.4 times our unit.
If you went straight on the leg with us, you would have hit as well.
You got 2 out of 3, right?
Yep.
But here at AIM, we do a 3-leg parlay, and we took a loss on that one. But it's all right. We have another one cooked for you fellas.
There you go.
And ladies.
And there you go. And so now we got to close out Thursday night is our fantasy.
Yeah.
The one player that we think is going to be the best position from each team. So we picked Jameis Winston. Now, technically, he wasn't the highest scoring between him and Wilson. However, it was by a margin of 0.3.
Yes.
So it's almost negligible because they both had pretty underwhelming games.
Correct.
So we're going to actually call that one technically a I mean,
like you call it a tie, win,
tie,
push,
yeah,
whatever.
push.
Sure.
It depends on how you look at it.
But at point 3 in
it's
fantasy world, it's a loss.
It's a lot. So it is technically a no. So we did technically lose. Najee we called. Obviously he was not it.
Yeah.
Chubb was better. Pickens we called. Now it was not Pickens, but it was another wide receiver from Pittsburgh that actually took over. Njoku wasn't the best tight end. Man was gone for the whole game. And then we had defense Pittsburgh, which we called, and Boswell, which we called.
Boswell,
so we got a good 3 out of 6 on there.
Yeah, hey. It was a.
Sorry, 2 out of 6.
2 out of 6. Yeah, it was a weird Thursday game, but there's been a trend when there's boring Thursday games, there's epic Monday night games.
Yeah.
And Sunday football just becomes a lot better because NFL sees how boring this game was, and they're gonna bring the excitement on Sunday where it should be.
Yeah. Sunday, Monday gonna be good games.
Yeah. So let's put Thursday behind us. Let's get forward. Let's get into the real-time football Sunday and Monday.
Yep.
Let's get right into it, Irshad.
Let's do it. So our records coming into Sunday Night Football, which if you guys remember last week, Alner and I were both 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we are hoping this week is going to be different. So coming in to this week, Alner, you're sitting at 12, 18, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting at 15, 15, and 3. And still got a lot of football left in front of us in the season to help beef that record. But let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. We have our games of the week for week 12. So, first game of the week is going to be an afternoon game on Sunday. It is the San Francisco 49ers visiting Green Bay, and Green Bay favored minus 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Alner, let me throw it to you first. Your thoughts, your picks. What are you saying? Let the people know.
San Francisco, Green Bay. Listen, we know Brock Purdy's not playing.
Yeah.
News came already. Brock Purdy's not playing. Which quarterback we're going to get? Either we're going to get Allen or Dobbs going to come in. Right now, it looks like Allen's going to step in as the second stringer to be the starter, and Dobbs is going to back him up.
Yeah.
This San Francisco team is desperate for a win.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely desperate for a win. On top of it, too, it's supposed to be a cold one in Green Bay. Just as it was on Thursday in Cleveland, it looks like it's going to snow out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already snowed in Green Bay. This is going to be a factor for Green Bay. Yes, they're at home. The cheeseheads are there. They like the cold. They like the snow. They like the ground and pound game. But this San Francisco team is a team that's like nitty and gritty. They'll find ways to make you earn your W or make you earn while you're there, while you're playing the game. And within that division of the NFC West, San Francisco really needs to come out with a W, especially a loss last week that they took against Seattle, where Geno Smith just ran in there. And it was like, oh my goodness, didn't think that was coming. Yeah. But we have that. It's going to be a really good game. But as aim here, we always talk about Mr. Third Player.
Yeah.
Here we have Mr. Third Player. So Mr. Third Player here is Craig Worslad.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't like home teams. Home teams are 63 and 63, so even on the money line when he's there. But against the spread since 2016, he's 51, 73, and 2 against the spread. Which means the home teams are usually likely not to cover the spread.
Right.
Now, you also have a new quarterback where Green Bay has basically no footage for. You don't know what Brad Allen or Dobbs is going to come with.
Yeah.
How do you game plan around it? If you had Purdy, you understand. You can game plan around Purdy. You know the way he throws. It's not going to be this week.
No. And
with the cold weather, like how we saw on Thursday, it's going to be a running game.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a team on one side who has Josh Jacobs on Green Bay who can run. But you cannot forget on San Francisco, you have Mr. C-Mac.
Yeah.
And Mr. C-Mac has yet to have a breakout game.
Yeah.
And a running game is what C-Mac does. I think this is his type of game where he's going to be able to come in, catch little slip screens, just like Chubb and Najee and Warren did on Thursday, break out, get a couple of yards on the run. He can also catch the ball slowly. You'll have Allen and Dobbs. Hopefully they both can run the football.
Yep.
But you're coming here and telling me that Green Bay is favored by 5.5 points?
That's a lot, man.
In a snow game, like we saw yesterday. Yes, it was 3.5 points. Yes, Cleveland did end up winning the game by 5. Don't get me wrong. But now you're telling me they won by 5, and the spread here is 5.5 an afternoon game where San Francisco really desperately needs this win? I'm taking the 49ers plus 5.5. I think there's a lot of points on the board here. The weather, too. The referee, the third player on their side as well, too, on San Francisco's side.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a backup quarterback, but San Francisco's defense has been playing really well. Especially they want to get embarrassed again after what happened last week.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to come out poised. They're going to be here. They're going to fight. They're going to grind. And they're just going to go and play some really, really good football. And yeah, San Francisco. Plus,
You call it plus?
plus 5.5. Plus Green Bay a short week. They're playing Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Yeah.
So, and they're staying at home.
Yeah.
So, I don't see Green Bay really, testing out the waters too much because they're staying at home too, yes. But I think that the San Francisco is a team that needs this, and plus 5.5 is too much.
I agree. You know what? I think there's a couple of things that you mentioned. I think with, starting backwards here, we'll go with the ref. Craig Warstad, obviously being a referee, he is 51, 73, and 2 against the spread for home teams. So clearly has an affinity towards the away teams in coverage. So that's number one. It is definitely going to be the cooler end of things in Green Bay on Sunday. It's positioning to be, an afternoon game, which is all fine and dandy. You're looking at about 6 degrees Celsius, which I know is a little bit cooler in terms of Fahrenheit world. But 6 degrees Celsius, that is cooler, especially for a sunny San Francisco team that's accustomed to playing. However, Kyle Shanahan has taken an L last week. Now, off a division loss, after he's lost a game by 4 points, which in this case they played the Seahawks last week. Now, mind you, they lost by 3. He has a positive comeback. He's 10-1 straight up in his last 11 games in that spot, 9-2 of which against the spread. Okay, so there is that channel. Now, there obviously are issues when it comes to Brock Purdy and his impact. We're not going to talk about that. He's not playing, so we move on. That is a pivotal player. But Kyle Shanahan has faced the Packers 7 times in his career. He is 3-0 straight up in the playoffs and 1-3 straight up during the regular season. Okay, so that is going to be something that is important to note because we're not in playoffs yet. This is the regular season, so as per this, he's more likely to lose. However, having the third player, favor the away team a little bit more, that works. But what's more interesting is Jordan Love. Jordan Love is being a favorite hasn't worked out to his benefit. As a favorite, Love is 4-7 against the spread in his career. Now, he loves being the underdog, but that's not the case today. So, Ulner, you mentioned a lot of things. I'm going to obviously, not repeat everything you said, but I just wanted to add that in that we obviously have Purdy being injured. I think C-Mac in his 3rd game back now. I think he's finding his leg, he's finding his groove. He's gonna be more relied on now with Purdy gonna be out. Jordan Love doesn't take too kindly to being a favorite. He's almost twice as likely not to cover the spread as a favorite. Shanahan has a better record when bouncing back, and you put into the motion that it might be on the cooler end of things, sure, but San Francisco needs the game. They're gonna be coming in and saying, hey, you know what, we're coming in for the blood, and we're not we may lose, sure, but I think it's gonna be a close game. I'm also gonna roll San Francisco plus 5.5.
There we go. Let's do it. 49ers.
And that's it. That's what lock that in. 49ers plus 5.5 against Green Bay, which leads us to our second game.
Yes.
So we have Sunday night primetime. We have Philadelphia Eagles versus the LA Rams. Philadelphia is favored -3. Ulner, what's your thought on that one?
This is gonna be a fun game to watch. You have a LA Rams team who's kind of finding their groove.
Yeah.
They're in it. Everyone's healthy. You got Puka Nacua, Stafford, Williams, Cup. A lot of people coming in here, but this Philadelphia team is dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're coming for Washington. They are coming for that division.
Yeah.
They're coming in hot. And we got Mr. Third Player, Land Clark. Once again, these referees that the games that we're picking don't like home teams.
Yeah.
Land Clark home teams are 25, 37, and 1 against the spread.
Jeez.
And 1. So home teams just don't really he doesn't like home teams. He tells home teams, play harder.
Yeah.
The visiting team's gonna get the win. You got, even if you earn it, you're not getting it. But yeah, the Eagles are on a different dimension here.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley's found his groove. You also got AJ Brown. What is it with AJ Brown? They're like 7-0 every time he's played. Straight up when AJ Brown has played this season. has played 10 games this season, and they're 7-0 straight up. And averaging 30 points a game.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. They're averaging 30 points a game when he plays. I don't think the Rams can keep up.
Yeah.
I don't feel the Rams offense coming out and matching what Philadelphia is going to do.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of weeks ago, too, when Philadelphia played on the Thursday night, where Irshad, you had them to cover.
Yeah.
And I took Washington to cover. Washington was there. The game was tight, close. And then what happened? The Eagles broke out. Barkley ran for 2 rushing touchdowns, opened up the game. They went and destroyed it.
Yeah.
I feel the same thing's going to happen here. I feel just the Rams are a team that, yes, they're going to need the W, but I think the Eagles needed a lot more.
Yep.
Like a lot more. And even after a win last week against New England, LA Rams sure have a win. Why not? But when you look ahead, they play New Orleans next week. Within their division, they can afford the win and loss because they already have a win against Arizona. I like Jalen Hurts here.
Yep.
Keep it short and simple. Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown being 7-0. That Philadelphia defense is clicking.
Yep.
They're poised. They want to get back to the Super Bowl. They also want to be a threat to Detroit Lions.
Yep.
And what better team to go on and beat the LA Rams, who won the Super Bowl previous years ago, and be like, hey, listen, we can ride with the best and we can beat the best.
Yep.
I'm taking the Eagles -3.
Yeah, you know what? Like I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, those are obviously some of the things I wanted to bring up because Philadelphia, I mean, they're number 1 undisputed in the NFC East, but their defense across the board is definitely a top 10 defense across the board, right? Everything from total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, points allowed, third down percentage, all of that. Their offensive, of course, offense is clicking. You know, on the backs of Saquon, so number 1 rushing in the league. But there's obviously a couple other things as well. I know you mentioned the third player, so I'm not going to bring that up. The ref definitely does, you know, prefer the away team when it comes to spread. But let's look at Sean McVay here. So Sean McVay, you know, when he's coaching on night games and night games where he's on normal rest, he's just 10, 12, and 2. 10, 12, and 2.
Yeah.
That means he's actually more likely to lose or not cover the spread. So, mind you, this game is a even number designation in that it's not a 0.5er, so there is that chance for that push. But 10, 12, and 2, I mean, I tend to agree that that's where it's going to be something that, you know, it's going to be a far cry from when they are, you know, favorites. Now, when McVay and Stafford are favorites, they're 27-9 straight up when listed as favorites. In this case, they're not. They're underdogs. And when they're underdogs, they're 6-14 straight up, which makes them twice as likely to lose the game outright. Outright. But we're not looking at that. But you take that into notion of the spread, 10, 12, and 2, it does hurt, right? But we obviously know Jalen Hurts does struggle a little bit on the road, for sure. But one of the things that I can share is when, you know, as a road favorite, generally Jalen Hurts, you know, was probably one of the lower quarterbacks. But in 2024 particularly, he is 3-1 against the spread as a road favorite. That is huge, which means Jalen Hurts' ability to cover. You have Saquon Barkley's dominance. You have the fact that McVay and Stafford do better as favorites, not as underdogs. It's normal rest. They're less likely, or they're more likely to not cover the spread. And then you have the ref coming in and, you know, quote unquote biased towards home teams. All to say is that Philadelphia, I'm riding with you again.
Yeah.
-3, lock that in.
Yeah, there was also another stat too, right? Even with Jalen Hurts, like in 3-1, like how you said, right? This year, he's averaged that whole team when they're winning those games, they're averaging 28 points a game.
Yeah.
So do you have them with just Jalen Hurts averaging 28? You got what's his name, and you got Brown there too. Not Brown. What's his name? Wide receiver. Who's the wide receiver for Washington? I mean, for Philadelphia. Isn't it AJ Brown? Yeah, AJ Brown. AJ Brown too, being there, the 30 points they win by, covering the spread when he plays 7-0.
Yeah.
So you got the quarterback and the wide receiver both playing, averaging 30 points a game. The LA Rams is no match, absolutely no match.
Yeah.
Spread -3. I think the Eagles fly and demolish them by.
Yeah, I'd probably safe to say at least a touchdown.
At least
maybe
a
touchdown.
even more.
Maybe
but
even
yeah.
more.
So yeah, Philadelphia, lock it in. Me and my brother have it again. Second game, Sunday night prime time.
There you go.
-3.
There you go.
Which now leads us to
Monday night prime time.
Monday night prime time, Hardball Bowl. This is going to be a fun matchup.
This is going to be good. Over under for those who do over under. Generally when you guys bet, the over under for this game is 50.5.
Woo.
That is high, with Baltimore being
Yeah.
favorite at -3.
Mm-hmm.
So, lots to say here.
A lot to say.
So let's get it started.
Irshad, let you go first this time. Tell them how you feel about this game.
All right. So let's start off. So we'll go with the third player himself, Carl Sheffers, who is going to be refereeing this game. Now, this is interesting because when he refs, home teams are 67, 62, and 2 since the start of 2016. Money line, 79 and 52 for the home team. So he definitely has a favor, a kind of a preference towards the home team. Okay? However, this is interesting in that when you look at how they're actually playing and what they're actually doing. When Lamar Jackson is a favorite of 3 points or less, or an underdog, he is 25 and 6 against the spread. But now when he's a favorite, he's actually a little bit less. He's 25, 35, and 1. Okay, I can understand that. But this is where things kind of get interesting. Lamar Jackson is the king of night games during the regular season. He is 19 and 5 straight up at night. That's nearly 80% of the games at night he wins. So when I look at the spread of 25, 35, and 1, I'm not really too worried about it if he's coming in and saying, hey, night game, it's my time to shine. Yeah. All the lights are on me. This is about me. Let's make it happen. I'm not too worried about that. All right. Now, what we do know is Lamar had taken a loss last week, right? Against a divisional matchup with the Seahawks. Now, Lamar last year was 4-0 against the spread after a straight-up loss. This year, he's 2-1 against the spread after a loss. So this is going to be very, very important. Now, mind you, they've only lost 4 times this year, so it definitely does bias it a little bit. So when we have that, taking a loss, I expect that he's coming out to cover the spread through and through. And this is going to be a road game. In his career, Lamar is 11-11 against the spread after straight up loss. However, that includes 6-2 against the spread on the road. So through and through, he is favored. He is coming off a loss. And he's coming off a loss where in 2024, he's still ahead of the game. He's 6-2, and he's a night game. So I'm looking at it from a perspective of you factor in all of Lamar's successes. You factor in the notion that they're coming off a straight up loss. And like you mentioned, it's the hardball ball for sure. But one of the things that I'm looking at is this Ravens team is just different this year. At their core, they're just different. Right? They have they're a top 3 offense in every category, every key offensive category. First in total yards, third in passing yards, second in rushing behind only Philadelphia, second in points, and third in third down percentage. This is amazing. So their offense is firing on all cylinders. Now, it's not to say their defense is horrible. It's definitely not the best, right? They're nearing middle to middle of the bottom of the pack in the league. But where their defense lacks, their offense makes up for it, right? Hence why it's always a shootout. The Chargers, on the other hand, don't actually have the best defense. Sure, they rank first when it comes to defensive points allowed, but generally their games have been pretty low scoring. So that could be an anomaly. I think what we're going to see tomorrow is, Monday is, sure, LA's 4-1 at home, but Ravens are 3-3 on the road. I think Ravens are coming out, and they're going to cover that -3. So yes, we know once again it's a 0.5 anomaly. It could be a push, sure, but I'm calling Baltimore -3. Lock it in. That's my take. Irshad here, lock that in.
Ooh, valid points you said out there, my brother. You came out letting them know how hot the Ravens are and how hot Lamar Jackson is right now.
Yeah,
you got the best running back and quarterback duo back there. With Derrick Henry. You can't forget Derrick Henry, too.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he signed in Baltimore.
Yeah.
He came in to say, I want to win a championship, and this is where he fits the best. But, going back to how they took a loss to Pittsburgh last week, Pittsburgh just took a loss on Thursday.
Yeah.
This leaves the door wide open for Baltimore to go get a W because they play each other again in a few weeks.
Yep.
And that game is going to be a big, big game because it's going to decide who wins that division.
Yeah.
And like how we said earlier too, right, in last week's podcast as well, where Baltimore doesn't want to finish in the 4, 5, 6 seed.
Yeah.
They want to finish top 3.
Yeah.
It's going to be KC, Buffalo, and the Baltimore Ravens. Because Baltimore Ravens want to go play at least Buffalo before they go play Kansas City.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go through both of them. But to play them early in like the first round, it's not happening.
No.
You don't want to see them playing on the road. I don't see it happening. And it's funny enough how you say that Baltimore is top 3 in the offense?
Yeah.
And the only team ahead of them are the Eagles. It's funny enough, we picked the previous game for the Eagles that are going to be playing Sunday night. And it's funny enough, going back to that game, just a fun stat here, there's a Lamar Jackson effect. A team that is ready to play Lamar Jackson the next week destroys teams.
Prior to,
yeah. It's like, it's funny. They're 71-39 straight up.
wow.
Forget the spread. They're just straight up. So when they know they're playing Lamar Jackson next week, they give it their all because they are afraid that they will lose
Yeah.
to Lamar Jackson the next week.
Wow.
Now you're looking at the Hardball Bowl here. You have Baltimore here coming on a record. This win is going to be big for them, where you're going to have the Chargers who are deployed. They're there, but KC's playing Carolina. We know the Chargers are not catching up to KC.
Yeah.
Yes, they got the W last week. They're 2 games behind them, but we know KC. Patty Mahomes is not going to let any team come near them, especially after a loss.
Yeah.
He got humbled. He's going to come back for vengeance.
Oh, for sure.
So they're beating the Panthers right away. The Chargers are going to lose. Hence, right there, I'm taking Baltimore -3. I'm riding with my brother here. Lamar Jackson is going to be why he's also MVP. Derrick Henry is also in talks for MVP.
Yeah.
Could be the first running back to win MVP in years. And the Baltimore Ravens, and again, Harbaugh brothers.
Yeah.
Right? Baltimore Ravens have already won the Harbaugh Bowl once against San Francisco Super Bowl. I think Jim Harbaugh takes another win too here.
I think so. I think it's gonna be a good game because I think Baltimore, like you said, they have some MVP caliber talent, and that's gonna show up on Monday night.
Yeah,
so
there we
lock
go.
that in. We with just a quick recap, Ulner and I are both rocking with the same picks. Which
I think it's the first time we're doing this.
first time. I think it's very rare that our
Yeah.
picks are exactly identical. So we are picking both the San Francisco 49ers +5.5.
Yep.
Picking both the Philadelphia Eagles at -3 and Baltimore -3.
There we go.
So lock that in. We're rolling together on this one. Easy, simple. No fights, no discrepancies. Let's all eat. Let's move on to our betting props.
Let's get into it. So, betting props, first one here. Anytime touchdown score, trending bet. Why not pick the hottest team in football right now? The Detroit Lions.
Easy, yeah.
Easy. You got the Detroit Lions here who have 2 good running backs who share the football evenly.
Yeah.
One says, hey, it's your turn. The next one says, hey, it's my turn. We'll both go on the field together. You're too hot. It's like brotherly love out there.
Yeah.
And we're taking Jamar Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs is going to be a running back like on Sunday. Catch the football, run the football at 1.66 times your unit. A team like Detroit Lions facing a team, Indianapolis Colts, at home in Indy. I think Gibbs is going to find the end zone. He's going to find the fade. Funny enough, as a bold prediction, I'm going to say he's not even going to get a rushing touchdown. He's going to get a receiving touchdown.
I like that. Lock that in. Anytime TD, Jamar Gibbs. And moving on to our parlay.
Let's go.
So we have Terry McLaurin over 50 yards.
Yep.
We have over 2.5 field goals in the entire game with Denver and the Raiders game.
Yep.
And we have anytime touchdown, Derrick Henry, Mr. MVP himself. Lock those 3 legs in.
Yeah.
We got 3.44 times your unit. That is a healthy amount because it almost sounds too good.
Yeah, that's funny enough. It's almost the same amount as we had on Thursday as well, too.
Yeah. I mean, 3.4, 3.4.
Yeah.
McLaurin 50.
There you
over
go.
2.5 field goals on the game, indoor game in
Yep.
Vegas. And anytime touchdown, Derrick Henry.
By King Henry himself.
That's
so
it.
lock that in, 3.44, which now leads us to our fantasy.
Yes.
We have each position there, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, defense, and kicker. Last week of Fantasy on Sunday, we killed it.
Yeah, we did.
So,
All-time high.
All-time high. So we're going to continue riding it, and hopefully we can get higher than that as well,
Yep.
too. I'm going to start off here. Our quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Washington Commanders are going to go play the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Yeah.
Jay Daniels is out for vengeance right now, wanting to win that division. He's going to come on and throw a lot of fantasy points at them.
Yep.
Which leads us to our running backs.
I mean, our 2 running backs, we got Saquon Barkley and King Henry.
Lights.
We got the 1 and 2, the 2 and 1, no matter how you cut it. Philadelphia, Baltimore. I mean, it's going to be against the 2 LAs, funny enough, the Rams and the Chargers. So we got Saquon Henry. We obviously have Henry locked up for anytime TD. We have Philadelphia called as a -3. Both are going to participate in those wins, lock them up, and we have our wide receivers next.
There you go, wide receivers. We got Amon St. Brown. Jared Goff's going to throw the football. Like, he's going to find his target, big body. Against Indianapolis, they're going to have to win. Next wide receiver, Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Once again, Nico Collins had a game last week, right? He got called back for that touchdown on the flag. He's out for vengeance to find that point. CJ Stroud wants to find his favorite target. Lock it in on Amon St. Brown and Nico Collins, which leads us to our tight end. Our tight end's a different one this time, a special one.
This is a different one. We haven't picked him yet.
I don't think so, yeah.
We have Mr. McBride himself.
Yup.
We anticipate it being, obviously the Cardinals visiting Seahawks.
The divisional game.
In the nest there. It's going to be a big divisional game. Dynamics are always a little bit different. Everyone's going to get involved.
Yeah.
Seahawks are probably going to spread the defense a little bit. So we're going to see a lot of checkdowns. You're going to see a lot of McBride action. And of course, when it comes to just the overall receiving, McBride is the leading receiver when it comes to the yardage on Arizona Cardinals. So lock that in. He's definitely going to be a beneficiary of a touchdown. But for every good offense, there's a good defense.
Yes.
Ulner, who's our defenses?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
After a loss last week to Buffalo, this whole team, offense, defense, coaches, everybody's coming out, and they're going to come on and blow off a whole bunch of steam.
Yeah.
They're going to roll over Carolina. You're going to see a couple of pick sixes, sacks, blocked field goals, punt return. They're just going to lay everything out and show why they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Kansas City's our defense. Lock it in.
Done and done.
And why they call football, you got to kick it.
You got the kicker, where we have, and we talked about it already, part of the over 2.5 field goal leg, where we have Lutz, the Denver Broncos kicker. It's going to be an indoor stadium. They're favored to win by 6. So it could be a matter of a touchdown. It could be a matter of 2 field goals. We anticipate it being a relatively low-scoring game. But for every 30 to 40 yarder where maybe the offense is a little bit slower, given that it is indoors, the kickers will be called to action.
Yeah.
We think Lutz will be one of the beneficiaries for that. So lock that in, and let's go recap one more time for the folks in the back. So, Ulner, who do you have for the games of the week?
We got 3 games of the week. First game of the week, San Francisco, Green Bay. We're both riding San Francisco plus 5.5. Second game, we got Philly and the Rams for Sunday night. We're both riding Philly -3. Last game, we got Baltimore and the LA Chargers Monday night. We're both riding Baltimore -3. All 3, lock it in. Irshad, tell him our trending bet.
So our trending bet is anytime touchdown. We have Jamar Gibbs from the Detroit Lions, 1.66 times your unit. Lock that in. We then have our 3-leg parlay, where we have McLaurin over 50 receiving yards. We have over 2.5 total field goals in the Denver and Raiders game. We have anytime touchdown from King Henry himself.
There we go.
Total 3.44 times your unit. And to close it out, Ulner, what do we have for fantasy?
Fantasy, quarterback Daniels, running back Barkley, running back Henry, wide receivers Amon St. Brown, second wide receiver Nico Collins, tight end McBride, defense Kansas City, kicker Lutz. Let's have some fun, AIM Squad, this week. Let's go earn some money. Let's go eat. Let's enjoy. Get our popcorn ready, because it's week 12 of football, and it's the first time me and my brother are riding together this week. This is going to be a special week for us. I smell victory from now.
I think so. Lock it in, AIM Squad. Enjoy what you can. Bet what you can.
There you go.
Enjoy, of course, every single game with us. Hit us up on X, Threads. Definitely give us a ping. But we'll be watching and locked in on Sunday night.
Oh, hell yeah, we will be. Get your popcorn ready. Get all your snacks ready. Enjoy the game. Week 12. Let's have some fun.
Let's get it. And from AIM Sports,
AIM Squad, we out. Peace.
Peace.